This video is made possible by Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg. If you're looking for a new Subaru product in the Chicagoland area, Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg is the best place to buy. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek base. Up front is a 2.0 liter flat 4 and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be driving this Subaru Crosstrek for two reasons. First of all, it is all new for 2024. This is a complete redesign of the Subaru Crosstrek that we have come to know and love. But the second reason is the fact that this car actually means something to me. Not only have I really always loved the Crosstrek, but this is the first car I've reviewed where I've gotten embargoed information from the manufacturer before their release. I was there when they released the vehicle and saw it firsthand, was one of the first groups to see it in person, and now I'm driving it. So it's a very full circle moment for me in my journalism career and YouTube career. So that's very special. But if you would like to be a part of my YouTube career and submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me, you can head over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. I travel all over the country and world to do my reviews. So check it out at zackpradel.com/submit. But let's get back to that 2-liter boxer engine under the hood. Well, it makes 152 horsepower, which isn't anything crazy. And I have to say it is pretty decent. I don't really feel like I'm lugging or chugging behind regular traffic. And I did feel that way about the previous generation Crosstrek with that 2.0 liter. However, like the previous gen, there's also a 2.5 liter offered if you would like more power, and that engine makes 182, so about a 30 horsepower bump, but I honestly don't see it as completely necessary. The 2 liter seems to do just fine. However, an interesting little fact is that the 2 liter Crosstreks are built in Japan, while the 2.5 liter Crosstreks are actually built here in the States over the border in Indiana. So kind of interesting that if you go up to the sport trim level, the car is built in a completely different country by a completely different set of people. Now, like I said, paired to it is a CVT, and I don't mind the CVT. I think Subaru does a pretty decent job with their CVTs. However, we will mourn the loss of the manual transmission option. Previous gen got it, but for 2024, the manual transmission is no longer offered. Not only here on the Crosstrek, but also they're taking it away from the Impreza, leaving just the WRX and BRZ, the only manual transmission Subarus you can currently buy. Last but not least, of course, this does get the symmetrical all-wheel drive system. All Crosstreks, base or limited, get the all-wheel drive from Subaru. It's a fantastic system, and I love it a lot. But how does it feel to actually drive the Subaru Crosstrek? Well, like I said, that 2.0 liter is actually a lot peppier than it was in the outgoing Crosstrek, so that has been really, really nice. You do have a little bit of an elevated seating position. The ride is a little stiff. However, that's what I would expect out of a vehicle like this. This is a little bit more of an adventurous vehicle. If you want a smoother ride quality, head on over to maybe the Impreza, the WRX, or of course the Legacy sedan. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer and coolant temperature, and off to the right is my speedometer and fuel. I also do have a little digital screen in the center, very typical of Subaru and on par with the rest of their products. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my skip track source information. That's for that center screen and the gauges, as well as phone options and volume. And off to the right, I do have my cruise control settings. This does have adaptive cruise as well as steering assist. And I have some different drive modes. So I have S and I mode. S is going to be sporty. I is going to be intelligent and be a little bit nicer on fuel economy and things like that. It's really just throttle response. The overall steering wheel is this sort of hard plastic, but again, this is the base model. It's a big reason I wanted to review this particular Crosstrek, because all the media outlets have covered the limited and sport and all those cool, fun trims, but this is basic. This is going to be the most affordable Crosstrek. That's evident here in the steering wheel, but it's not that big of a deal. Off to the left, I do have a climate control vent, as well as my gauge dimmer switch. And moving on to the door, I have my power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Moving into the center, I do have two different screens. The bottom screen is going to be for AC and some driver settings. The upper screen is going to be your apps and radio media. The reason I point out specifically that this is two different screens is that this is only available on the base model. Once you move up to the premium, the limited, or the sport, you actually get a full-size single screen, which I think looks a lot nicer. So this is just a consequence of the base model. However, it uses the same kind of user interface. It works well. The touch screens work well. It's just split up into two screens as opposed to being one large one. Speaking of changes with the Crosstrek, I do have dual zone climate, which is new for the Crosstrek. The previous generation, there was no configurable way to get dual zone climate in the old Crosstrek. Well, now in the new one, it's standard on every single trim level, which is definitely nice to see. Here's what the backup camera looks like in case you're curious. And in here, I do have like X mode and things like that, which are really nice to see. One benefit of the larger screen, however, is that it does get wireless CarPlay, where this split screen does not get wireless CarPlay. It has regular, traditional wired CarPlay. Then I do get a USB-A charger as well as an aux input. Showing its age a little bit, I would have expected a USB-C and no aux, because most phones don't even support aux anymore anyway. But then I do get a little cubby, and then we come into the center with the shifter. The shifter area looks a little blank, not in a bad way, there's just not much going on. And I do have a power parking brake down to the bottom left, but then I do have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the brand new 2024 Crosstrek. And unfortunately it fails. I was hoping that they would add something, but I could still hold out hope because they are doing a wilderness edition. So maybe they'll increase the bottle size for that. And before people ask, the doors also fail. There are giant bottle holders in the door, but they also still fail with the big friggin' bottle test. What can you do? Then we do have an openable 12-volt outlet in the center. I really like that for chargers or other devices. And then we get a center console with absolutely nothing in it. Kind of funny to see. The seats are fine. They're not super comfortable, but they're also not incredibly harsh. They're a decent middle ground, and I'm not complaining too much. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the all-new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek base, and the features back here are a little sparse, but to be expected out of a base model. I don't get any vents or chargers or anything like that back here, although it does look like on the center console I would maybe get chargers in an upper tier, but the base model does not. In terms of actual space, when I'm sitting normally, head is not hitting the ceiling, knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. This is my driving position. I'm 5'11" and not a small guy, and I fit back here pretty well. So that is gonna be a big upsell above the Subaru Impreza, is that this has a lot better of a back seat. However, we will hop out and we'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, but just so you viewers know, in between the driving portion and now the back seat portion, the sky absolutely opened up. So it is now pouring, where when I grabbed this car, it was sunny outside. It's the Midwest. You could see all the debris from trees that fell in that short little rainstorm. Anyway, around the back of the Subaru Crosstrek. Hard to see now because it's all wet, but Subaru is starting to do these waves, forest, and mountains, sort of really speaking to the outdoorsiness of these vehicles. But you pull up here, it's not a power tailgate, but these struts really help out. Again, we get more floor mats, and they're gonna have more waves, more mountains on them. That's the theme that they are going with. We do have like a giant little cup holder over there. I'm not seeing any 12-volt outlets, which is fine. And then we can pull this up and we do get a spare tire. So of course the second row does fold down, which is nice. And with that, you have plenty of cargo space in the back of the Crosstrek. I've never thought the Crosstrek had bad cargo space, but the 2024 has exceptionally good cargo space. So definitely very happy to see that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and obviously this is all new for the 2024 Crosstrek. Before we do a walk around, here's a quick comparison parking it next to an older older Crosstrek. That's the Crosstrek in black, in case you're curious of what design cues have changed. Overall, it's still identifiable as a Subaru Crosstrek, and we can start the walk around. It's still identifiable as one. You'll notice the base model does not get roof rails. That's a quick tell that this is a base model. However, this is finished in Horizon Blue Pearl, which I think is an interesting color. It's one of Subaru's most popular colors, and it is only put on vehicles from Japan. So if you see a Horizon Blue Subaru out in traffic, just know that that sat on a boat and was built in a foreign land. The base model also gets black wheels, so all the base models are going to have black wheels, which I think is kind of an interesting choice from Subaru, but not necessarily a bad one. So with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Subaru Crosstrek, the brand new Subaru Crosstrek? Well, I think it actually is really good for being a base model. In the past, Subaru has been somewhat known for almost punishing people for getting the base models. In 2005, the base model Impreza didn't even come with a radio. However, for this base model, it isn't that way. You actually get some really nice features. The dual zone climate becoming standard, to me, is a huge, huge benefit. I will not purchase a vehicle that does not have dual zone climate. It's just a necessity for this point in my life. I like the look and appeal that you get for the base model. It has the adaptive cruise with steering assist. It does have CarPlay, although it is wired. To be fair, this price of like $28,000, I believe you saw at the beginning, I'll post the exact MSRP, that is with optional floor mats and optional this and optional that. So really the base price before destination fee is $25,000, which I think this is a pretty good amount of car for $25,000. Again, without that destination fee, you're really looking at 26 or 27 out the door. Although I do mourn the loss of the manual transmission, I'm sad that we don't get more vehicles with the manual. I think overall this refresh and redesign has gone really well. They haven't lost any of their Crosstrek identity. You can still quickly tell that this is a Crosstrek, but they have progressed it forward. It looks fresh, it looks modern, and it looks different. And I think that overall this is a really big win. It's no secret that I truly believe owning a Crosstrek will be in my future at some point. When my significant other is ready to buy a car, she's always been interested in the Crosstrek, and I think that's the way that we'll probably go. And I'm excited to now report back to her that I think she's going to make a very good decision. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg for letting me take out their Crosstrek. They are absolutely awesome. I cannot thank them enough. Napleton Subaru in Schaumburg has been fantastic to work with. This just got unloaded off the truck a few days ago, and they immediately notified me so we could get a video made. They've been absolutely awesome, and I cannot recommend them enough. Their information is up on the screen as well as linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.